This is Kevin McMurray with TrackingSharks.com. Today we're looking at shark attack bites that occurred in 2022. The first incident took place January 4th at Hyman's Beach in New South Wales, Australia. A 42-year-old mother was in the water around 5:54 a.m. when she was bitten on the inner thigh by a shark. Taking inspiration from Mick Fanning, who punched a white shark, she hit the estimated 6-foot, 2-meter bronze whaler until it swam away. She was able to swim the 32 yards, or 30 meters, back to shore where paramedics transported her to the hospital. Despite having 10 puncture wounds on her thigh, she was able to get back in the water later that day. In New Zealand, a 13-year-old was bitten January 9th on the right arm and back. Alvira King was swimming with friends off Holmes Wharf in Friendly Bay when a 7-gill shark grabbed her. The shark shook her for what felt like minutes before releasing its grip. She was able to make it back to the dock and was taken to the hospital where she received 42 stitches in her right arm and upper back. A local biologist attributed the incident to people discarding fish parts off of the harbor to watch sharks feed and recommended signs be posted that the area is used for swimming. 2 teens were bitten by a wobbegong shark in Western Australia. Jack Tano and Liam were in Wherrywood January 22nd with Jack's mom. The boys were looking between seagrass in the shallow waters when they came across a wobbegong. Jack began screaming that he was being bitten and scurried onto a rock. As his mother was checking his injuries, Liam started screaming. A man on a kayak came to assist the trio and took them back to shore. Both boys had injuries to their knees, but did not need medical assistance. In Florida, a woman nearly lost her foot to a lemon shark. Heather West, 42, snorkeling at Dry Tortuga when a shark grabbed her foot. West was with several acquaintances off Loggerhead Key off Little African Reef when the water started getting rough. The visibility was so poor that the group decided to head to shore and have lunch. West saw a clump of seagrass floating in an odd manner and felt a sensation that she needed to turn around and get out of the water. She then felt a tug on her right foot. At first she thought someone was playing a prank on her, but a second harder tug pulled her under the water, and she realized she was being pulled by a shark. After hitting the shark for what she thought was a minute, it let go. Her friends heard the commotion, and despite not knowing if the shark was still there due to the low visibility, swam to her aid and took her to shore. The area is quite remote, but thankfully 2 park rangers were on the island and able to radio for help. A speedboat was dispatched and collected West, who was eventually flown to a hospital in Key West. She had damage to a ligament and tendons in her foot, but a plastic surgeon saw West and was able to treat the large hole left in her foot. Back in Australia, another boy was bitten by a wobbegong. Jack Shackle, 11, was at Wherrywood January 24th when he was bitten. He jumped into a blowhole and landed on a wobbegong shark that was not pleased. The shark grabbed the boy's foot and left an injury that required examination by doctors. 6 people have died while trying to swim through the blowhole. None have died from shark attacks there. An 8-year-old girl lost her leg to a shark in Brazil. The girl, who has only been identified as Nicole, was at the beach with her father January 28th. Around 10:30 a.m., Nicole was bitten on the thigh. She was taken to the hospital São Lucas, where her leg was amputated. A large tiger shark was spotted swimming in the area after the attack, and the beach was closed to swimmers. Nicole was released from the hospital February 1st. Jacqueline Morley, 20, was bitten by a white shark in Australia. Morley was riding in a pool ring when she was blown into deeper water February 6th. Barry Brown and his brother watched the young woman drift about 200 meters, 218 yards offshore. They saw what they thought was a dolphin swimming under her pool ring and then saw Morley hit the water. An estimated 10 to 13 foot, 3 to 4 meter white shark had hit Morley with such force its tail was seen coming out of the water. Morley began calmly swimming back to shore with a trail of blood behind her as the shark circled the pool ring. Eventually the shark slipped into deeper water as Brown heroically swam out to assist the woman. Once on shore, he carried Morley to his girlfriend, who wrapped the wound up and took her to the hospital. She was transported by air to another hospital. A scuba diver was injured by a bull shark in Costa Rica. A British citizen paid for a dive excursion with a group of family members February 8th. During the dive, an estimated 10-foot, 3-meter bull shark grabbed the woman by the arm. She was able to fight the shark using her left hand, which was injured in the attack. She was taken to Santa Ana by private emergency helicopter, where she received medical treatment for the wound. It is possible that this was a paid shark dive, but no official information has been released. A person was bitten by a cookie cutter shark in Hawaii. The person was about 1.5 miles offshore in deep water February 9th when the gnarly little predator took out a chunk of the person's right foot and calf. The incident occurred around 3:30 a.m., and it's unknown why they were out in the water at such a late hour. It could be they were practicing a deep water swim. Back in Florida, a surfer was bitten on the foot by a shark. Gene Lopez, 18, was surfing February 10th at the Cocoa Beach Pier when he felt something grab his foot as he was swimming. Lopez made it back to the beach and was treated on scene by lifeguards. He declined medical transport and said he was just happy to have all his toes. The first fatal shark attack of 2022 occurred in Mexico. Victor Estrella, 56, was diving for scallops off Sonora, Mexico when he was killed. He was using a surface-supplied air hose monitored by a tender aboard a boat. Around 10 a.m., the tender noticed Estrella's hoses moving erratically and began pulling them up. As Estrella approached the surface, the tender spotted a large shark that struck Estrella again and forced the tender to fight the estimated 13-foot shark for the body. A photo said to be of Estrella showed he was missing his right leg. The second fatal shark attack of 2022 occurred on February 16th. Swimmer Simon Nilist, 35, was in deep water off Little Bay in New South Wales, Australia, when he was taken by a large white shark that severed his appendages. And video from the scene shows the white shark consuming his entire body. It is rare to see a white shark consume an entire person, and if it were not recorded, would have left many people skeptical. Simon was an experienced waterman, but was in very deep water, quite a ways away from shore. The following day, February 17th, Rodney Forrester was in Brisbane when he was bitten on the leg by a tiger shark. He jumped in the water to untangle fishing nets that had jammed up his boat's motor when he was bitten on the left thigh by a 10-foot tiger shark. At first, he made fun of the incident, but once reality sank in, he realized it could have been much worse. He came forward to warn others to be vigilant in the water. An unidentified fisherman was bitten by a shark off Bimini, Bahamas. The 51-year-old was bitten on the arm by a shark. Reports indicate he hooked a shark, and when he went to release the shark, was bitten on the forearm. The U.S. Coast Guard was notified and collected the man before flying him to a hospital in Florida. A female diver was bitten off San Miguel Island February 26. The diver, who requested to stay anonymous, was searching for scallops off the coast of California, while others in the group spearfished or pleasure dove. Around 10:30 a.m., she surfaced to look for her dive boat. The water was rough, but after getting her bearings, she headed toward the boat. As she approached the boat, she saw people on the boat looking past her and looked to see a 14 to 15-foot white shark approaching. The shark grabbed her fin and nipped her toe before she was pulled out of the water by members of her group. She was collected by the Coast Guard and flown to the mainland. Thankfully, she escaped with only 6 stitches and has a souvenir fin with a massive mark from the large shark. A 21-year-old man off New Smyrna Beach, Florida, was bitten March 9th by a hooked blacktip shark. The incident is considered provoked. A 20-year-old swimmer was bitten on the foot March 13th at the same beach. Tim McAndrew, 32, was surfing with several friends March 15th at Crowdy Bay, New South Wales. He felt something pull his leg rope and then pressure on his right leg. At first, he thought someone was playing a prank, then looked to see blood in the water. He yelled a warning to his mates and then headed to the beach. A friend wrapped his wounds, and on the way to the hospital, he learned that a second person was also bitten by a shark that hour. Eric String, 20, was surfing off New Smyrna Beach, Florida, when he was bitten on the foot by a shark. The Florida Atlantic student hopped off his new board to dip his head in the water when a shark grabbed his right foot. He went to urgent care, but luckily did not need any stitches. A fatal shark attack occurred in Nicaragua. Antonio Straccolini, 56, was diving off de San Andreas March 18th when he was killed. Reports indicate the Italian tourist may have been riding a jet ski before swimming back to shore and then back to deeper water. He was known to be a good swimmer, but on his way back to the beach was heard screaming and was seen surrounded by blood. An estimated 8-foot tiger shark bit his right thigh. Graphic photos showed a substantial portion of his outer thigh was missing. He was taken to the hospital, but based on photos, most likely died in the water or shortly after being brought back to the beach. Locals took video of a large tiger shark swimming feet from shore after the incident, and some locals said they warned people not to go swimming as sharks had been spotted in the area prior to the attack. There's also been debate as to whether tourists were feeding fish near the area for photo opportunities. Another undated photo showed 2 tiger sharks swimming as people watched from shore. A 50-year-old man was fishing off Lake Worth Beach in Florida March 31st when he was bitten on the knee. In New Jersey, a 10-year-old female was feeding stingrays when she was nipped on the finger by a shark. Employees of the Turtleback Zoo used a Band-Aid to cover the wound and comfort the girl. An adolescent male was bitten on the right foot April 11th off Highland Beach in Florida. The 4-foot shark darted away after biting the young man's toes. Blake Berry, 17, was swimming in Gulf Shores when he was bitten by a suspected bull shark. Berry was with his friends in chest-deep water when he felt something clamp onto his right foot. Once on the beach, he looked at his foot expecting minor damage, but realized he had had a significant injury. He was taken to the hospital where he received stitches and was told the bite missed a major artery by 1/4 of an inch. An unidentified man was around Whale Harbor near Windley Key, Florida, April 17th when he was bitten on the lower leg. The 56-year-old flagged down a Coast Guard patrol boat around 4 p.m. for assistance with the 8-inch laceration on his lower leg. An 8-year-old was bitten on the right calf by a suspected shark in Phuket. A spear fisherman was bitten on the arm in the Yucatan May 1st while throwing fish in his boat. In Bora Bora, a female tourist was bitten on the hand May 7th while riding on a boat. On May 10th, a man fell overboard his fishing vessel in the Maldives and was bitten on the right calf. Brian Bradley was spearfishing some 43 nautical miles from San Pedro May 19th when he was bitten. He was with several friends in a kayak when they spotted a grouper. He fired at the fish but missed. He called to his friend who shot the grouper and then collected it. On the way to the kayak, a shark struck, grabbing the young man on the right wrist and lower arm. His friend said the shark was coming back, and he shot it with his spear. For the next 20 minutes, the friend fought the shark until Bradley said he might pass out. The friend then took him back to the kayak, and they signaled for their main fishing boat. Bradley was taken to shore and then airlifted to Belize City for further treatment. A female swimmer was bitten on the leg in South Carolina May 24th. The 30-year-old woman, who wishes to remain anonymous, was visiting Kauai Island when she went for a swim. Around 1:30 p.m., a shark bit her left calf, leaving multiple lacerations before swimming away. The woman made it back to the beach and was taken to the hospital. A female was injured June 1st off Oyster Stacks, Western Australia. The injury was minor and the woman did not seek out medical treatment. A second shark bite occurred in South Carolina June 21st at Pirate Campgrounds in Myrtle Beach. Lifeguards cleared the beach and an injured teenager was taken from the beach in an ambulance, but further details have not been found. Stephen Broomer was swimming off Pacific Grove in Monterey, California, June 22nd when he was attacked by a white shark. The retired teacher was swimming off Lovers Point Beach when he began screaming and slapping the water. A paddleboarder and a surf instructor paddled over to the injured man and pulled him to the beach. He had injuries to his arm, leg, and torso. He was taken to the hospital after receiving excellent first aid care from Good Samaritans on the beach. Jackie Forst, 68, was vacationing with friends and family members on July 23rd off Redington Shores Beach, Florida. She was floating in the water when she heard something splashing behind her. As she tried to calmly head to shore, she was followed by 2 bull sharks. She felt a pressure on her leg and looked to see the shark release its mouth from her calf and was followed by the shark as she made it back to the beach. She was taken to the hospital and has made a full recovery and has even been back to the beach and gotten a shark tattoo. Michael Simpson was spearfishing June 24th in the Bahamas when he lost his arm to a tiger shark. A little after 2 p.m., he was with a group between Half Moon Cay and Miller Bay when he felt something grab his arm. At first, he thought it was a buddy playing a prank and then looked to see a tiger shark on his right arm. He tried to fight the shark with his left hand, but lost his spear. Thankfully, someone on the boat heard the commotion and drove to his aid. The boat driver ran into the shark and was able to pull Simpson on board. He lost a large amount of blood, but survived the incident, though he is unsure how he will support his family, since fishing was his profession. Bruce Wollevo was swimming in Plattenberg Bay, South Africa, June 28th, when a white shark attacked him. The father of 2's body was recovered beyond the surf line. Shortly after the attack, a large shark was filmed swimming in the area. Lindsey Bruns, 35, was swimming in the Florida Keys June 29th when she was attacked by a large shark. Her right leg was so mangled by the shark that her husband Luke had to pull her back to the boat. Luke made a makeshift tourniquet and drove his wife 20 minutes back to shore. On the way, he called 911, who dispatched medical personnel to a local dock. Thankfully, after several hours of surgery, she was able to keep her leg. Unfortunately, Addison Bethea, 17, was not as lucky. She was scalloping with her brother off Keaton Beach, Florida, June 29th when she was attacked. She remembered watching shark attack shows and tried to fight the shark as it was attached to her leg. Thankfully, her brother saw the commotion and swam to her aid. He was able to fight the shark until it released his sister and took her back to the boat. Unfortunately, Addison lost her leg in the attack, but is doing great in adapting to the challenges of a prosthetic. An unidentified man was bitten on the foot by a shark at Jones Beach, New York, June 30th. 2 fatal shark attacks occurred in Egypt. Elizabeth Sauer, 68, was filmed floating on July 7th in the water after a tiger shark grabbed her leg. The large shark tore off her foot and hand. The tourist was able to make her way back to a pier where Good Samaritans attempted CPR. Unfortunately, she passed away. A team of experts arrived on scene the following day and found another shark attack victim. Roxana, 68, was found with her lower body missing. Video from her hotel showed she left July 1st with snorkeling gear and never returned. Based on the footage, she would have been killed that same day. Based on the wound patterns, a tiger shark was determined to be the culprit. Zachary Gall, 33, was swimming off Smith Point Beach, New York, July 3rd when he was bitten on the upper chest by a shark. That same day, a 28-year-old was swimming off New Smyrna Beach when he was bitten on the foot. On July 6, John Mullins, 17, was swimming off Fire Island, New York, when he was bitten on the foot. A male was bitten on the foot off New Smyrna Beach, Florida, July 10th. 10 days later, a female was bitten on the hand off Hilton Head, South Carolina. A paddleboarder received minor injuries from a shark July 13th off Smith Point Beach, New York. The same day, a man was wading off the same beach when he received injuries to his left hand and buttocks. A third shark incident occurred the same day, July 13th, at New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Pat Clark, 28, was bitten on the left foot and left with minor injuries. Tassa Summers, 40, was wading off Daytona Beach, Florida, July 16th, when she was bitten on the left calf. She called to her boyfriend, who quickly swatted the shark away. She was taken to the beach where a tourniquet was applied, and then to the hospital where she received 8 stitches. On July 17th, Brett Reeder was fishing off Content Keys when he pulled a lemon shark to the boat. As he was trying to release the shark, he touched the shark's mouth, which grabbed his finger and spun. He was flown to the hospital, and his little finger was reattached. It is unknown if the finger took. Surfer Max Hayes, 16, was off Kissimmee Beach, New York on July 20th when he was bitten by a shark. He also thought a friend was playing a prank when he felt pressure on his right foot. He kicked the estimated 6-foot shark, which released its hold and swam to the beach. Brian Oliviers, 33, was off Daytona Beach, Florida, July 25th when he was bitten on the right foot while standing in waist-deep water. Fisher Haruko, 13, was lobstering in the Florida Keys when he was kissed by a nurse shark. The teen was with family members July 27th when the shark grabbed the boy's lips, creating a significant injury. His father and other family members swam to his aid and pulled him back to the boat. He was taken to a local clinic on shore and received 10 stitches. A female snorkeler was bitten on the leg July 28th while on a shark encounter in the United Kingdom. The woman was most likely wearing a thick wetsuit, which helped prevent the injury from being too serious. On July 30th, a man was bitten on the foot at Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Jameson Reeder Jr. was snorkeling in the Florida Keys August 13th when he was attacked by a shark. He was snorkeling using a noodle when an estimated 8-foot bull shark grabbed his leg. Hearing his screams, his parents jumped into action and pulled the boy to their boat. He was taken back to shore where a helicopter transported him to the hospital. Unfortunately, he ended up losing part of his leg, but is said to be in good spirits. Luke Pascoe, 17, was spearfishing with his friends off Mistaken Island August 15th in Western Australia when a white shark showed up. Pascoe had just surfaced with a fish in the 30-foot deep water when an estimated 15-foot shark grabbed his left knee and chin. He was able to swim to some rocks where his friend Connor helped him onto the rocks and then carried him a mile back to the car and took him to the hospital. Pascoe does not blame the shark as he believes it was attracted by the freshly shot fish and planned on getting back in the water after he healed up. Finley Downer, 8, was swimming with nurse sharks on an unknown date when he was bitten on the leg. 2 people were bitten by sharks at Myrtle Beach in South Carolina on August 15th. Karen Seitz was with her family. She felt something biting her and looked down to see a shark attached to her right forearm. She was able to strike the shark several times until it released its grip. She was taken to the hospital where she received multiple stitches. An unidentified male was bitten the same day, but little information has been released. A 14-year-old was bitten on the hand by a shark August 30th off Avoca Beach, New South Wales. The unidentified teen was taken to the hospital where he received stitches and was released. Sonny Pace, 14, was bitten on the wrist August 31st in New South Wales. He was sitting on his board when he felt something come under him and then bite his wrist. He needed 5 stitches to sew up the wound he believes was caused by a bronze whaler. On September 3rd, a 51-year-old suffered serious injuries off Maui. The French tourist was snorkeling when she was bitten several times by a shark. Several people heard her cries and rushed to her aid. She was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Carolina de Placio, 58, was killed by a shark September 6 in the Bahamas. She was visiting Rose Island on a non-shipboard excursion when she was attacked while snorkeling. The tour group brought her back to shore, and video from the scene appeared to show she was already deceased. A scuba diver was bitten by a shark in Kailua Kona, Hawaii, September 9th. It is considered a provoked incident. Based on this, the man was either spearfishing or was possibly on a shark dive. Kim Basanajo, 39, was killed by a shark in South Africa. The mother was out for a swim when she was hit by a large white shark. Beachgoers heard her screams as she disappeared under the water. Her recovered body indicated injury by a great white shark. Jared Traynor, 31, was surfing October 2nd off Centerville Beach, California. He watched the surf and thought of warnings he had heard about October being called Sharktober due to the presence of sharks. He paddled out and was waiting on a wave when he was pulled underwater. He recalled being about 4 feet under the surface. The shark grabbed Trainor's leg, but thankfully, one half of its jaw had the surfboard preventing it from severing the leg. He grabbed the shark's body and began kicking with his left leg and hitting the shark, which released him. Traynor paddled back to the beach and, unaware how bad he was bitten, went to his truck. He noticed blood pouring out of his wound and quickly dialed 911. He does have some nerve damage, but was more worried about how his son would react to the incident than his own injury. Isaac Johnstone was surfing off Portland, Victoria, Australia when he was bitten on the foot. He warned his friends and they all left the water. On shore, paramedics were called. Johnstone was taken to the hospital where surgery was performed on his right foot. Robbie Peck, 38, was spearfishing in Western Australia October 2nd off Port Headland. The father of three was around 11 kilometers offshore when he decided to stab one last fish. He was holding the fish when a bull shark came out of nowhere and grabbed his arm and hand. Peck was able to make it back to the boat where friends tried to save his nearly severed arm. He was flown to the hospital where doctors attempted to save the appendage. 3 men were shipwrecked in the Gulf of Mexico October 10th. Thankfully, one of the men's family members alerted the Coast Guard, who located the men. As they were approaching, they saw one of the men fighting off a shark. Once on board the rescue copter, the man was treated for minor injuries. A man was bitten on the toe October 19th off Oahu, Hawaii. Swimmer Lynn Dutronich, 50, was off the coast of Del Mar, California, November 4th when she was attacked by a white shark. The rough water forced Dutronich and her swim partner further from shore during the weekly swim. As the two took a break and floated in the water, a shark grabbed her inner right thigh and shook her. She hit the shark, which let go. The duo began swimming back to shore and were helped by Good Samaritans. Lifeguards confirmed that no arteries had been severed, and Dutronich was taken to the hospital. A commercial fisherman was bitten October 27th on the waist, side, and abdomen off Horn Island, Mississippi. The 5-foot shark left 5 lacerations, and the wound was listed as minor. A diver was injured off Cat Island, Bahamas on October 28th. A fisherman was bitten by a shark at Cape San Blas, Florida, November 3rd. The man suffered minor injuries, but a full report has not surfaced. Jasmine Carney, 10 years old, was playing in the waters off Hobie Sound Beach, November 27th, when a shark grabbed her foot. She fought back, kicking, hitting, and eventually pulled her foot from the shark's mouth. One of the shark's teeth hit a blood vessel and nearly cut the girl's foot in half. She was taken to the hospital where surgeons were able to correct most of the damage done by the suspected blacktip shark. Kirsten Allen, 60, was snorkeling with her husband in Maui, Hawaii, December 8th. The two were about 50 yards offshore when the man spotted a large shark. He looked for his wife, but only saw the shark with something in its mouth and red around the gills. A bystander saw a large tiger shark feeding on something in the water and called to the husband, encouraging him to leave the water. Allen's body was never recovered. A 68-year-old man was off the Big Island December 13th when a tiger shark bit his lower left torso. The man was able to fight off the shark using a diving knife. A paddleboarder came to his aid and he was taken to the hospital before being transported to Oahu for treatment. A man was bitten on the foot in New South Wales December 11th. That covers all the publicly known shark attack bites as of January 19th, 2022. I have posted several videos that go more in depth on several of the cases. Check the in-video links or the Shark Attack Bite playlist on the Tracking Sharks YouTube page for more information. youtube.com/trackingsharks. You can also check out our 2022 Shark Attack map at trackingsharks.com. The website also has information on how to prevent shark attacks, along with other useful information. If we missed a shark attack bite, you or a friend or family member were attacked bitten, please contact me so we can add your information and make corrections as needed. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment what videos you would like me to cover next. Follow our Facebook page and join our group at facebook.com/trackingsharks or click the links in the description. Support us with a super thanks or get early access to our videos by supporting us at patreon.com/trackingsharks. Thank you for watching and get wet soon.